Assalamu alaikum class. In this video we are going to cover the topic convergence in a norm space, but before going towards the proper definition of norm space we will learn about some basic concepts or basic terms like linearly dependent and linearly independent. So the concept with the same as we normally deal for the real numbers in number theory, that how we can say that the given terms or the given vectors are linearly dependent or independent. So let n be a norm space, a subset x1 x2 so on up to so on xn of n is said to be linearly independent if for every choice of scalars the equation gives ai is equal to 0 for all I varying from 1 to n. That is, when we put the linear combination of the vectors to be 0 or the elements of n to be 0, and we get all the scalars 0, or this equation is satisfied only if all the scalars are 0, then the terms will be named as to be the linearly independent. If any one of the scalar is not 0, then we will call the vectors or the elements of n to be linearly dependent vectors or the linearly dependent elements of the norm space. So the this one could be checked for finite number of elements, but in the case of infinite subset of n, we will say that the infinite subset of n is linearly independent if every finite subset of a is linearly independent. If each individual finite subset of a is linearly independent, then obviously the set overall, which is an infinite set, must be an linearly independent set. The next term we are going to learn about is linear combination. An element x of n is said to be a linear combination of the elements x1 x2 up to so on xn if there are scalars such that I can write the number x, or I can write the term x to be the summation I varying from 1 to an ai xi. That is the linear combination in which we write the any element of the norm space as an addition of the scalar multiples of the vectors x1 x2 up to so on xn. Then we will call it to be the linear combination. Next, in vector spaces the sum of an infinite number of terms is not defined, but in case of norm spaces we can define the sum of infinite number of terms. And how we can define this? Here you can see that we can define the concept by introducing partial sums. So let xi be a sequence in n, then summation Sn is equal to summation I varying from 1 to n xi. This is representing the term Sn, and this is basically the partial sum of the first n terms of the sequence. So if we consider this expression, then Sn is a sequence in n. How we can check out the convergence? If the sequence Sn is converges to x belonging to n, then for any given epsilon positive, we are able to find out a natural number n naught such that Sn minus x norm is less than epsilon for all n greater than or equal to n naught. This is by the definition. So next we have that how we can apply or explain this, as that we can write a term of or an element of the norm space as an infinite collection of the other elements. So here you can see that Sn minus x norm is less than epsilon for all n greater than or equal to n naught. That is, x is equal to the limiting value of this sequence. So limit x n approaches to infinity Sn. So this is what this is representing if infinite terms, that is s1 plus s2 plus s3 up to so on. And this s1 is now x1, s2 is equal to x1 plus x2, then it will be equal to x1 plus x2 plus x3. So this is how we can write any element of the norm space as an infinite linear combination, or as an infinite collection of the other elements of the norm space. Next we have absolute convergence. So a series summation I varying from 1 to n xi is said to be absolutely convergent if the series with norm of each individual term is convergent. So what is the definition for absolute convergence? That the series is said to be absolutely convergent if the absolute series is convergent. That is, we are just taking the norm or absolute value of the e of each term of the series. So in calculus, summation I varying from 1 to n infinity ai is absolutely convergent if the term with mod is convergent. So the same is defining over here, that the series summation I varying from 1 to n xi is said to be absolutely convergent if this series is convergent. So this is the definition of absolute convergence. An absolutely convergent series may or may not be convergent if the space is not complete. So this is an important result, that what happened if the space is a Banach space or a complete space. So here we have an important theorem. Let x summation I varying from 1 to n ai xi be an absolutely convergent series in a Banach space. Then summation I varying from 1 to infinity xi is also convergent. So this is the theorem we are going to prove, that if absolutely convergent series in a norm space, a Banach space, is also a convergent series. So let x summation I varying from 1 to n xi is absolutely convergent series in a Banach space. So if this is absolutely convergent, it means the norm of xi is convergent series. If this one is a convergent series, it means that for every epsilon positive we must be able to find out a natural number n naught such that this condition is hold. So why we are imposing this condition? Because we normally say that after a particular number of digits the terms are getting closer and closer to each other. So the same concept is being applied over here. So this is representing this convergence of partial sums. Now put xn is equal to x1 plus x2 up to so on xn. Then clearly sm minus sn. Here you can see that if m is greater than n, then from 1 to m is going to be sm, and from 1 to n it is going to be sn. So if I subtract sn from sm, these elements will be cancelled out and we will be left with xn plus 1 up to so on xm. Now we can apply triangle inequality over it, so whole term will be less than or equal to these. Now the summation by equation 1, this summation is less than epsilon, as we have mentioned, to be n k varying from n plus 1 to m. So here we are having the same terms as xn plus 1, xn plus 2 up to so on xm. So the summation is less than epsilon, that's why we have put less than epsilon over here. So this result is representing that Sn, or the sequence of partial sums, is a Cauchy sequence in n. Now we have taken n to be the Banach space, so every Cauchy sequence in n is also convergent in n. So it means that the sequence of partial sums Sn is a convergent sequence in n, and if this one is a convergent, then we can write it as x is equal to limit n approaches to infinity Sn, and where x belongs to n. So being the partial sums, we can expand it as x1 plus x2 plus x3 plus up to so on, and hence it becomes summation I varying from 1 to infinity xi. So here you can see that every or each element of the norm space can be expressed as a linear combination of the other elements of the norm space. Here we have an important result. Let n be a norm space in which every absolutely convergent series is convergent, then S must be a Banach space. So previous theorem we have discussed in previous theorem that if we are having a norm space or a complete space, then the every absolutely convergent series is also convergent. So here we are having a opposite of it, that let n be a norm space in which every absolutely convergent series is convergent, then n must be a Banach space or a complete space. So the next term we are going to learn is basis of a norm spaces. So a collection of elements B from I1, I2 up to E1, E2 up to so on En of a norm space n is said to be a basis if the following conditions are satisfied. So the first one is that the elements of the set B must be linearly independent, and for the second term we have that for each x belonging to n there are uniquely determined scalars a1, a2 up to so on an, such that we can write as limit n approaches to infinity x minus summation I varying from 1 to n ai ei. So this is how we can write it, as that this term is equal to x, because the difference is equal to 0 means the terms are getting closer and closer to x. Since if b is a basis for each x belonging to n, then we are able to define a unique expression in this form: x is equal to summation I varying from 1 to infinity ai xi. Next we have finite and infinite dimensional spaces. So a norm space n is said to be finite dimensional if it has a finite basis, and it will be named as the infinite dimensional if it has infinite elements in the basis. For example, for any norm space Rn, the bases are E1, E2 up to so on En. So these are finite number of elements being the n tuples. So this is going to define a finite dimensional norm space.